What it do, guys? Dynasty Life, fantasy football in the house. Holy shit, we've got back-to-back days of the Bagala. It must be around Christmas. He's dropping in here, giving us presents.
Don't get used to it. Don't get used to it.
His presents with 2 days in a row.
You should be blessed.
We got no CDB in the house today for this particular show. He's got some things going on, but we'll be here for the next half an hour, 45 minutes, holding you down, getting all your starts and quits, any questions you got, whatever you need. We are here for you. Playoffs. Essentially, this week is the playoffs for a lot of people because if you win, you're in. You might need some help, etc., etc. So throw those questions out there, whatever you got. We'll be in here for a little while. Bagala, what you got today?
Nothing, man. Was up late streaming, but let's get it going. Let's hit these games. Games are about to start. Playoffs are right around the corner if they didn't start yet. I know some leagues moved it back a week since the 18th week came and shit like that. So got my coffee. I'm ready to roll.
There it is. So let's see. We're gonna start getting the inactives list popping in soon. So we'll keep you updated with those. But the major stuff starting to come in right now. It looks like Saquon is 50-50, but I just saw a thing on ESPN.
No, they said Saquon is going to play. So, but also, even if he's going to play, you're going to start him. But temper your expectations. He has a really tough matchup today. And with the neck injury, they'll probably spell him a little more than usual. Listen, I'm a Giants fan. I don't expect the Giants, if somehow they can keep it close. But if you're a Giants fan out there, just let's get ready for a bad day, guys. Eagles, I hate the game. Yeah, but I hate the Eagles, but they are just mashing everybody that they play. They're 11-1. They're a really good team, and I hate to say it, but they're a really good team, and anything can happen. But let's not count on it. So, especially with the receivers we have, we're probably going to have to throw the ball a lot. They're going to stack the box. They're not going to let Saquon get going.
And that's what I've noticed about a lot of the teams over the last month and change, where obviously we talked about this last night. Like Barkley is just not getting that high yardage total. You know, he's going to be involved. He's going to provide you with a safe floor. But as you said, now with an injury, temper your expectations. You still have to play him no matter what, obviously. But like you said, temper your expectations. He's going to be one of your RBs. But we also have Amari Cooper expected to play. Now, I know there was a lot of information with Amari Cooper saying that he wasn't going to play. So it looked like Donovan Peoples-Jones was a really nice play. So, you know, even if you have Donovan Peoples-Jones this week, I still think you kind of want to play him. If you don't have better options, I think he's pretty good. It's going to be interesting to see what Deshaun Watson gets done in his second game back. I know you have Deshaun on your Dynasty team. What do you think about Deshaun going into this game?
I think he'll look a little bit better than he did last week. What that consists of, I don't really know. But like I said, he hasn't played in 2 years, so he has to get the juices flowing. He has to get accustomed, with the guys around him, with the offense and things like that. So look for a little bit better showing. Again, they're playing the Bengals. They could be throwing to keep up. Come here, punk. To keep up with the Bengals. But Donovan Peoples-Jones been really good. And if you have in our Dynasty League, we basically score for everything and return yardage. He had a punt return last week, so he got the touchdown. So he is involved in the offense. I like Peoples-Jones a lot. I'm starting him. I have to start him in a bunch of leagues because of just buys and injuries. The week 14 buy is horrible, so he's a good name to look at. And I don't know how much Amari Cooper is going to play today, and if he gets re-injured, it's Donovan Peoples-Jones is a really good play today. So we'll see what Deshaun gets going. I need him to pick it up.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people we had, especially in the week leading up to him playing, we had a lot of questions about Deshaun Watson and, would you play him over, Justin Fields? Would you play him over, certain guys? Because a lot of people have had Deshaun Watson stashed, whether it's Dynasty or redraft. So a lot of questions surrounding Deshaun Watson and whether you can trust him. And this is a really critical, obviously we talked about this. It's a really critical week, for a lot of us. So it's,
and it's a critical week for the Browns. Think about it. If they're able to win this game, they're still right there in the middle for a playoff berth. They're 5-7 right now. They somehow find out they have the Bengals and the Ravens in back-to-back weeks. So if the Ravens in the division, and the Ravens are not going to have Lamar Jackson. Yep. So if the Browns somehow find a way to win these 2 games, they're right in the thick of it. And Deshaun Watson is now playing meaningful football, and he just has to get his feet under him. And once he does, I think we're going to start seeing that quarterback we know that he can be. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about him given the situation, but I'm not here for that. I'm here for football. And a couple of years ago when it was him and Mahomes was basically running the league, and you know what he can do. He's one of those guys. So we're going to see.
He's definitely a needle mover. When all things are equal, but obviously all things are not equal at this point. But like I said, the talent is there, it's there, and he's got a fairly good roster around him in terms of weapons with the running backs, with the receivers, with the tight ends, all the skill position they have. So you want to see him, especially from a strictly football standpoint. Not to say I don't care about the other stuff, but we're looking at it from a strictly fantasy football, perspective. And it's going to be really interesting to see, out there for those people either fighting for a playoff spot, or if they're in the playoffs and they have, a Deshaun Watson over a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers or, somebody like that. So it'll be really interesting to see. But we got a couple questions popping in, so let's get on that. Outsole, what's up, man? Always good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Would you play Lamar's backup, Huntley, or Tom Brady today? Bagala, what you got?
Brady has just a bad matchup. I was just watching it look like it's a little wet over there. I think I would play Huntley against Pittsburgh. Huntley, he's shown last year he had a few good games. He's shown that he has a rapport with Mark Andrews. Once he gets a week to prepare and things like that, he knows he's a starter. He can play ball, especially in that offense. I feel like they got him to be able to run that offense when Lamar goes out, and they don't skip a beat. Everything's open to him. So I'm playing Huntley today over Brady just based off of matchup, because San Francisco's defense is the real deal. Now, and the Bucs can't block, so
no, they can't. And I think one of their better offensive linemen got hurt last week. I don't think, was it Wirfs?
Wirfs has been out for a couple of weeks,
and now. Another offensive lineman got hurt last week, a significant offensive lineman. So so
they're struggling on the offensive line.
Also, too, you were mentioning Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh is 5-7 as well, and it looks like they're building towards something. Obviously, with their young players, and they got T.J. Watt back, so T.J. Watt could be running around after Huntley. But I agree, I'm taking Huntley here, and that's simply because of the rushing upside alone. And he's been in that offense before. Obviously, we got a decent look at him last year when he filled in for Lamar. So I think Huntley as well. What else we got? Kevin, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Superflex, start 9, and we're picking 2 here. So we're sitting 1. Brady, Murray, Watson. Bagala, tell us what you got.
I think Murray and Watson, right? I like Murray and Watson here, just off the fact of Brady's going to be running for his life, but Brady can't run.
But he can't run.
You know what I'm saying? He's a stationary target. Nick Bosa and them boys are going to be all over him. And I just don't see the upside of playing Brady this week. Now, he could have a good game. He's the GOAT. Don't get me wrong. But I think a little bit of the safer play is Murray and Watson. I mean, they have they're going against two really good defenses, but they're not going against the best defense in the league. And they can kind of give you a safer floor with their rushing. You know what I'm saying? If they get out of the pocket and things like that, I don't know if Murray's going to be able to. I don't know if Bill Belichick is going to allow him to turn the game into something like that, because, Bill's just genius, and he doesn't let you do what you want to do. But Murray always has that.
He's so dynamic.
Where he has, yes,
plays. Yeah,
he can make plays with his feet. He has that threat to always be able to extend a play or run and get a first down. Maybe Murray ends up with 40, 50 rushing yards today and gives you a little bit of extra points, but we know Brady's not going to end up with 40, 50 rushing yards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think, obviously, listen, there's questions about all of these guys, but obviously Murray is definitely the one play here just because he is so dynamic and he provides you with a safe floor, especially with the rushing that we talked about.
He's been okay this year.
Yeah, and he's been okay, right? He's been a top 10, fantasy quarterback. Like, we talk about this shit all the time. It doesn't look pretty, but he'll still get you a safe floor. You're looking at 20 points, combination rushing and throwing. For me, obviously, I'm taking Murray, but I think I'm still going to go with Tom Brady here. And I just need to see Deshaun Watson get his sea legs under him. You know what I mean? And it's really tough for me to really judge what he's going to be. I know the matchup is a little bit better with Cincinnati, Cleveland playing Cincinnati. But, listen, if the Bucs are down, Tom Brady's going to throw it 50 something times. And he's got to give me something with those 50 throws. Now, I know it hasn't been pretty, and that offensive line is just banged up. They haven't looked right really all year. But I still don't know what to expect from Deshaun Watson. I know another week, obviously, practicing, getting his reps, working with his guys, in real time, real practice work. But I'm gonna go Brady and Murray here. But there's a case to be made, or not made for all three. But I'm gonna go Brady and Murray. Bagalat is going Murray and Watson.
Yeah, I just think it's good. Oh yeah, what's up, Jackson?
Jackson, what it do, man? Appreciate you tuning in. We got Bagalat here, so you're getting an early Christmas gift by seeing Bagalat 2 days in a row within the span of 12 hours.
And Stevie faded away just like his hairline, Jackson. He's not here today, baby. It's just the Polish and the Bagalat.
Oh, that's too funny. All right, here we go. Kevin's got another one for us. Kevin, and then pick one to start. Flex position. So one flex here. Jeff Wilson, Deonta Foreman, Adam Thielen. Appreciate you guys. Kevin, we appreciate you. I think I'll jump in this one. Thielen's got the good matchup against the Lions. Deonta Foreman, who Carolina's playing. I forgot who they were. Seattle.
He got a pretty good matchup too. Seattle gives up a bunch of rushing yards. Jeff Wilson has a really good matchup also. They all have good matchups here.
Yeah, so for this particular one, I think I'm still going to go with Jeff Wilson. I think like I said, I like him in that Miami offense. I actually have Jeff Wilson and Adam Thielen both playing in my Dynasty lineup this weekend. I don't have Christian Watson, and Jeff Wilson's just my RB2. Especially since the trade to Miami. So I'm going to go Jeff Wilson here as one in my flex. But you could make a case for Deonta Foreman. I don't think Adam Thielen really cracks the lineup if you have these three options.
I think the Thielen now in his career is basically more touchdown dependent. You're hoping he gets a touchdown, and maybe he does today against Detroit, who's hard. The defense is just horrible, but they have been playing better.
Yeah.
But and Foreman has a good matchup. He rumbles when he gets going. He gets going. But I don't know. I just like the matchup. I like Jeff Wilson. It's a better team that he's on. That you know what I'm saying? With
offense.
Better offense. He's looked really good, except last week where the game script just dictated that they had to throw the ball, and Mike McDaniels if you tell him he has to throw the ball, he's gonna fucking throw the ball. He wants to throw the ball when he's supposed to run it. So, but yeah, I like Jeff Wilson in the matchup that he has.
All right. Kevin says Bosa might be out for the Niners, right? I didn't hear any.
I didn't. Yeah, go ahead, Polish. Because I have him on my. He is questionable, but he is expected to play today.
Okay,
which is yeah, he's expected to play today. I don't think he's going to be out, but that's something to watch, especially for me, especially if you're in a league where you play individual defensive players. Just watch Bosa for that 430, 425 start, but he is expected to play today, and I think Bosa has a great game today.
Yeah. I have to start Niner D, right?
Yes, you do.
What are your other options? I know usually you don't really, especially in redraft where you're starting a team defense, you're not rostering more than one defense. So if you got the San Francisco defense, you're playing them. And if San Francisco,
the number one D.
Yeah, and if San Francisco defense is available, drop whatever you have and go pick up the San Francisco defense.
Exactly. You have to start them. You're right, Jackson. You have to start them. This is the best defense in the league today.
Yeah,
right now.
Absolutely. All right. So one for my flex, outsole, James Cook, Pacheco, Evans. Only a question because of his 4 targets. Palmer, let me know, guys. All right. So one for the flex, James Cook, Pacheco, Evans, Palmer. Baga, take it away.
I know he has a tough matchup. I'm starting Pacheco here. He's been really, really good these past, 3-4 games. They look like they're handing him the ball. He's getting 15 rushes at least out of the backfield.
Yep.
And another handful of fucking targets in the passing game. He scored a touchdown, I think, two out of the last 4 weeks, 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I actually have to start him. Now, that's not the reason why I'm telling you to start him, but he's just been very productive. And I like the way he runs. He's explosive. He does have it.
Go ahead.
He does have over the last, he has 2 touchdowns over the last 5 games, but his touches, 16, 15, 22, and 14. So he's getting the ball, you know what I'm saying? With his receiving, he's not getting you much receiving, but he's getting a few targets here and there. So,
and another interesting development. Last week he was the kick returner.
Well, he's been kick returning the whole year.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah,
he's been in and out of the kick return situation, but last week 5 kick returns for 116 yards. So we do monetize, or not monetize, but we do we have kickoff scoring in our league. And if you do have kickoff scoring in your league, that's another added bonus, as Bagala was talking about, especially with a guy like Pacheco and a guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones. It just gives you that added upside where if he breaks one and scores a touchdown in the
you're
return,
looking at 10 points.
You're looking
at or more.
A huge day, especially for a guy like Pacheco. And we talked about, his volume in the last 4 weeks. He's looking at 30 and 30. He's looking at 67 rushing attempts in his last 4 games. So that's averaging to about 15, 16 rushing attempts a game. So that's really good. But I'm going to go with Pacheco as well. I just, like you said, they're really getting him involved in a really good offense. So I think that is a really good play this week.
Yeah, and Evans, Evans hasn't had a touchdown since what? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So
Stevie B checking in. There he is.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah. So he wants Bam Knight or Hinton. LOL. Stevie motherfucking B.
I mean, they said Carter came back, but from what I've seen from Bam Knight, he looks really good. If not, he, you know what I'm saying, he's a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger. I think if they do get down at the goal line, he'll be the one to try and punch in the touchdown. But there's no Sutton today. And I know the Broncos are horrible, and their offense is horrible.
Yes, they are.
You know what I'm saying? But with no Sutton, and we've seen Russ, throw to Hinton pretty consistently. So those 2 options, I would start Hinton just because game strip might tell you that the Chiefs are going to probably being the lead in this one, and the Broncos are gonna have to throw it. And for whatever that's worth, I know they're bad, but they throw it a lot more, and Hinton is probably gonna receive. You know what I'm saying?
Some of that.
Some of that work. And if the Jets go down to the Bills, they're gonna if they have to throw, I think that's when you see more of Michael Carter. You know what I'm saying? Unless Bam Knight. But so I like Hinton, Stevie.
Yeah,
Ride with Hinton.
I think I'm gonna go Bam Knight, and just because, like, obviously with no Sutton out, you would expect Hinton to get some good targets and whatever. But Jesus, dude, that passing attack for Denver is just so bad and so inconsistent and just so putrid that how can I rely on really any of their pass catchers? You know what I mean? Or any of their offensive skill guys?
I get that.
It's just too hard for me to rely on. At least I know Bam Knight is gonna get some goal line work, when they get down there. And their offense for the Jets with Mike White is much better. So you would think the opportunities for Bam Knight to be in scoring situations is going to be a lot greater than it is going to be for a guy like Hinton. So, and then obviously Hinton's not even the number one, target there. Obviously you got Jerry Jeudy, you got Dulcich, you got Latavius Murray. So Hinton is really the fourth best option, offensively, at best for me. So I'm going Bam Knight here just because I think the offense is better and he'll be in more position or a better position for to be in scoring situations. So yeah, I'm rolling with him.
I definitely see what you're saying, but for whatever reason, when I look at watch the Broncos and things like that, the one guy that looks like he has a rapport with Russell Wilson is Kendall Hinton. For whatever reason, they look to be on the same page. And, when he throws it to him, he actually hits him. Go figure. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why I like Hinton.
Oh, there's Blanco shouting out his guys. Jackson, Kevin, outsole. So
Jackson don't care about you today. You're gone today. Jackson's rolling with the hammer and the bagala.
There it is. That's all you need in your life these days, especially on a Sunday morning. So yeah, Jackson, Stevie.
There he goes. They're in the chat.
Pacheco for Stevie B. You know what, Steve? If you got all this input, just hop on. Don't be a bitch. Show your face. We know what the hairline looks like. Just show your face.
Stevie's doing the daddy thing today.
Yeah, he is.
I understand, and right here, Outsole says it's so freaking hard to sit Evans, and yes, it is because of who he is and what his name is and who his quarterback is, and he may end up catching a touchdown, but he hasn't been productive since probably like week 9.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
it's one of those guys where you look at the back of the card and you're just like, damn, Mike Evans has been one of the most productive receivers really in NFL history on a per year, and a per game kind of basis. And I was watching another show and they were talking, he's been a touchdown machine his whole career. And for whatever reason, you kind of have to have some objectivity in terms of, listen, we know what Mike Evans is, but damn, it's similar to like how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. How good has Aaron Rodgers been his entire career? He's been awesome, but this year, similar to Mike Evans, you can't look at the name and you can't look at the back of the card. You have to look at the production. And I think at this point, right, we're in week 14, boys. Like, what we've seen, there's a big enough sample size to tell you, what you're going to receive, what you're going to be getting, at least as a floor or a ceiling for that matter. So if you have an option with higher upside, you have to look at the matchup. We talked about this. They're playing San Francisco. Now, he may throw a bunch, but that hasn't necessarily translated, for the
not for the Buccaneers.
Right, exactly. So it hasn't necessarily translated. Just because Brady throws 50 times, he could end up with 250 yards and 1 touchdown. You know what I mean?
And that touchdown could go to Chris Godwin or Rashad White or something like that.
Or Kate Otten or any number of different guys. So I don't think you could just summarily say just because he's Mike Evans, you have to roll him out there. once again, if your options aren't as good or, don't have as much upside, then maybe. But if you have options with better upside, you kind of have to look at it and see how comfortable you are with that other option. But Mike Evans hasn't given you any confidence that he could go out there and be the wide receiver 1 that he's been, or even a wide receiver 2 for this matter, that he's been for pretty much his whole career. So we hear you. It's tough.
It really is tough, and but like you said, you have he has good options with good upside. You know what I'm saying? He has James Cook, which is coming off our monster game. You know what I'm saying? And he has Pacheco, which both of them are coming off really good games, and it looks like they have the higher upside for this week and the better matchup.
Yep, for sure. All right, Jackson, Jonathan Taylor or Joe Mixon rest of season. I mean, I think I'm leaning Jonathan Taylor here. I think they're very similar running backs. Joe Mixon's playing on the better offense, obviously, but I think Jonathan Taylor, especially with Jeff Saturday, the Fighting Saturdays heading the table there in Indy. I think it's got to be Jonathan Taylor. Bagla, what do you think?
Yeah, I love me some JT. I think he's better than Mixon. Now Mixon's on a better offense, but for rest of the season, give me Jonathan Taylor. I do have Jonathan Taylor on one of my fantasy teams, my redraft teams, and things like that. But since Jeff Saturday has come there, you know what I'm saying? When did Jeff Saturday get there?
I think this is his 4th game coaching, I believe.
His 4th game, right? So he came after that New England game that Jonathan Taylor missed. But since Saturday's been there, this is Taylor's rushing attempts: 22, 22, 20, 21.
Right.
You understand?
And 20 a game.
And 20 a game, and with at least 3 receptions a game, probably more than about 3-4 targets a game. He's getting his best player the ball.
Yep.
You understand?
I agree.
Jonathan Taylor is the Colts' best player, and Jeff Saturday knows what he has to do. And if you're looking at today, he has the bye, but this is Jonathan Taylor's last playoff schedule, basically. Minnesota, the Chargers, and then the Giants. Give me Taylor for the rest of the season.
Yep.
I think he has a big game in at least one of those games.
I agree. And I think also, too, with Joe Mixon, yes, Joe Mixon is a workhorse. He's really good. I know, obviously, he's pretty much over the concussion thing. But for Joe Mixon, he plays in such a good offense that it's a detriment to him because there are so many other options. Jamar Chase, obviously, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I know Hayden Hurst is out, but Hayden Hurst, when he's there, commands some nice targets. And then obviously, Joe Mixon is going to get his work. Pirine is a 3rd down back, and we saw what Pirine can do, when he's given some opportunities. So Joe Mixon's a really good running back, and he's a workhorse. But if you had to choose between these two for the rest of the season, I'm going Jonathan Taylor.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Steve again chiming in. Hinton track record is garbage, though. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's not. Hard to say that he, look at his track record, but I think we're just looking at it for this particular week because Cortland Sutton is out, and then,
absolutely,
and then whatever your other option is. I'm not crazy about Hinton, obviously, but
I'm not crazy about Bam either, especially with Michael Carter there. So, it's not like it's Bam's backfield. If you got Michael Carter there, they're gonna split time,
right?
So now Hinton moves up a spot and he's in that Cortland Sutton spot. And Hinton, yes, he does not have a good track record, but that's also because, of the Broncos. But I expect the Broncos to be throwing more. And Stevie always talks about opportunities. I think Hinton will have more opportunities.
Yeah, and the thing, like I said, if Russell was just playing mediocre, right? If he was just having just a run-of-the-mill season, I would be like, yeah, Hinton, because they, Russell Wilson's a quarterback. You would think that he would get, 6 or 7 targets in that game and an opportunity to, find the end zone. But with that offense just being absolute dog shit, I can't. It's hard for me. I had Cortland Sutton on one of my teams, and the first couple of weeks he was really good, even though that offense has been shit all season. And then he just fell off a cliff, like an absolute cliff. And that offense just doesn't provide you with enough opportunities for upside. At least I know with Bam Knight, they're good. With Mike White back there, Bam Knight with Mike White back there, they're going to
move the ball.
Yeah, they're going to move the ball. There's going to be at least some upside. With Hinton, I don't see much upside just because the offense is just trash. Oh, man. Jackson saying Jackson need the hammer is crazy. Well, it's okay. Everybody needs a little hammer in their life. Bogolani. No. There's nothing wrong with that. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, but it's all right. It's all right, Jackson.
Jackson, I know
sure you can handle a hammer. It's all right.
Oh, man.
What is going on?
What is going on is right. All right, let's see what else we got. Outsold. This is a make or break week. I win, I'm in the playoffs. If not, I'm out. Yeah, man. Listen, you're gonna find this. I'm sure there are tons of people out there in the exact situation that you're in. I'm sort of in that situation in Dynasty, but there are multiple paths for me to make the playoffs. I'm currently in the last playoff spot. I'm playing, Blanc actually as well. And Blanc's in a little bit of, we're both in a similar situation where if we win, we're guaranteed a playoff spot. But if we lose, we need another team to lose. So we're both in the playoffs. So there's multiple ways. But yeah, man, this is a make or break week for a lot of people. And, it's one of those things where you're sitting there at 11:59, just like tinkering with the damn phone, wondering who you should play. And you always get the heebie-jeebies at the last minute trying to decide who you want to play.
And I will say this out. So if you have a gut feeling or something like that, then you go with your gut and you play your guy. You know what I'm saying? Play your guy, set it and forget it, and you just hope. You know what I'm saying? But Mike Evans is the bigger player, and if you feel comfortable going with Mike Evans because of who he is, then you do that. You know what I'm saying? But also, don't be scared to make a move just because you're in this position. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get in this position and you have to have the stones to make a call that you usually wouldn't really make. So it's tough. It's tough. I'm not like Polish or Stevie B, in all three home leagues. I'm in the playoffs. I'm in top three in all leagues. So I'm not fighting for anything here, but probably seeding if that's, you know what I'm saying. So,
hey, listen.
So, but I feel you. I've been in that position before. So make your call, set it and forget it, and don't think about it anymore, whoever it may be.
Yeah, and just to cap that point off, I think it's really important to take a step back sometimes, like, look at it objectively. You know what I mean? If Mike Evans is your guy and you're going to roll with him, then roll with him. But yeah, roll with him. But take a step back, look at it objectively. Like I said, look at the numbers, look at the matchup, look at the weather. I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we started talking about weather and how weather, especially in this point of the season, starts to affect games and, how games are played and, the passing game, et cetera, et cetera. So take a look at the weather as well if you want. All those things are a factor, but it's tough, man. It's tough. But listen, at least you kind of control your own destiny, so you have to just play who you think is your guy matchup. Like I said, whether you take all those things into account and you just, make a decision and roll with it.
Now, yeah. And now with San Francisco, their back end can be had. They can, you saw last week, the Dolphins had some really good success throwing the ball. But the thing is that is Brady going to have the time? And with a banged up O-line and things like that, is he going to have the time? And it's not like Tom Brady's going to be out there extending plays. He's a stationary target back there. And I think that plays right into the hands of San Francisco. So it could be a long day. But then again, hey, you never know. I think that's why we're seeing Mike Evans struggle so much, is that the Buccaneers are having a hard time pushing the ball down the field. And that's what Mike Evans does. He catches those 50-50 jump balls and things like that.
But you need
And
the time to get it
you need the
out.
time to for those plays to progress, and it's just not happening. And I see, and as you could see, it's affecting him. So
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, also roll with your guy, make a decision, stick with it, and best of luck to making the playoffs for you. Jackson. Okay, scenario. Would you take Mixon with Pirine in or Pirine with Mixon out rest of season?
that's tough because
I
Piron's been pretty good when he's
Yeah,
in there.
he was balling. Yeah,
He's balling, and without that 50-point performance from Mixon,
he's pretty average this year.
he's pretty average, and Piron kind of looks better, no? You know what I'm saying? So, but I'll still take Mixon with Piron.
Yeah,
I would still take Mixon with Piron.
I'm gonna agree with that. It's really interesting because I think the only thing that I would say about this specific question is that it was such a limited sample size with Mixon out, having Pirine in there. It's hard for me to take that over a guy that's been in the lineup, very rarely has any injury concerns with a guy like Mixon. And he's a high volume guy to begin with. He gets the carries. He's really the guy there. He's one of the few true bell cow backs. Obviously, Pirine is the third down guy. And he's the pass catching back. So I wouldn't go crazy just because Pirine had a couple of good games. I think he's a fantastic running back. And I said this to somebody else. I forgot who it was. I didn't realize he could run between the tackles the way he was the last couple of weeks with Mixon.
Yeah, Piron's a big beefy back. No, you know what I'm saying? So he can definitely run in between the tackles. He's a mean, angry runner, but he also can catch the ball.
Right.
But I still think Mixon's a little bit more talented. So yes, I would take Mixon with Pirine still healthy over Pirine with Mixon out.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that as well. And even with essentially what we talked about being a kind of pedestrian season, the 58, almost the 60-point game in our half PPR league kind of skews his number, but he is the number 11 running back in our half PPR Dynasty league. So
he gets 25 carries a game when he's healthy.
Yeah, he's going to get the totes. So, yeah, I think I still will take Mixon. But listen, Pirine showed what he could do, and I think he's opened up a lot of people's eyes in terms of, him being a very effective back when Mixon is out. But it's definitely Mixon in there for now. I don't really see any other major injury news. Those starts and, those inactives should be rolling in. Looks like Trevor Lawrence is going to play.
I needed that.
How do you feel? How do you feel about Trevor Lawrence against the Titans today?
Well, the Titans stopped the run, so you know what I'm saying. If they can be beat throwing the ball, Trevor has to. I think Trevor has a really big day, really good day. Is the ankle going to hold up? The toe, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying. Maybe it gives him a little bit of problems with him trying to roll out and get out the pocket and things like that. But I'm looking for a big day from Trevor. Big day for Christian Kirk and those guys. So, if Trevor starts and you have Trevor, I feel you can feel comfortable starting Trevor Lawrence today. He's been decent. He's been a lot better. He's looked a lot better since Doug Peterson got there. And you're starting to see some semblance of that first pick. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he's starting to come along, I think. And I think next year he'll be better. Only time will tell what he can really do. But I like Trevor Lawrence, and I like him for this week especially.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the season. He got off to a pretty good start, relative to what he did last year, when they were just absolute putrid.
They were horrible.
They were horrible. And the thing we said about Trevor Lawrence is, dude, just stop turning the football over at such a high rate. We know, listen, interceptions are going to happen, fumbles are going to happen. It's part of football. We understand. but the rate in which you turn the football over matters. You know what I mean? And over the last 4 games, he has 0 interceptions, and that's exactly what you're looking for, because that's going to stabilize your production. You're not getting those -2s, with the fumbles, and that shit starts stacking up. And if you find yourself in a close game, -2, -4 could sink you on a given week. You know what I mean? Especially heading down the stretch and into the playoffs. So yeah, I do like Trevor Lawrence a lot. I like his talent. I think obviously they were markedly better than they were last year, and he's still a young quarterback. You know what I mean? He's what, 30 games into his NFL career. So I think that, he has all the talent, and I like what they did getting a Christian Kirk in there, getting a Marvin Jones in there. Getting guys like that. Obviously, Travis Etienne is a big part of their offense. Evan Ingram coming in, although I know how much Bagala loves Evan Ingram.
Give him, yeah.
But listen, he has legitimate weapons, and we've seen him be the beneficiary of those weapons and being able to make plays and, be better than last year. Is Trevor Lawrence a QB1?
Not yet.
Not in 12-team league?
Not yet. Now, I don't think so. Not yet. I think there's other guys that you could go to if you wanted to, take a chance on. Maybe, maybe he's doing enough.
Yeah,
he's doing enough. And he I think he's on that borderline of QB1, QB2. If he is a low end QB2, he's right there on the borderline. I think he needs a little bit more. Be a little bit more consistent, but like you said, 30 games last year, I'm really not going to count against him, because that Urban Meyer thing was a fucking debacle. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, and I kind of get where, all of the turnovers, he just felt like he had to go out there and make plays because they were the coaching was just so bad. So you kind of saw him doing too much. You know what I'm saying? And now he's, and I think, more than anything, the players and the roster is good, yeah. But Doug Peterson coming in and stabilizing everything and actually having an NFL game plan, excuse me, and I think that he's benefited from that the most. And so I think he's a low-end QB1. You could make an argument for him because he's been solid, you know what I'm saying? And I drafted him in a 2-quarterback league. Yeah. And right now, between my 2 quarterbacks, if I have to say who my QB1 is, it's Trevor Lawrence.
Who's your other QB?
Derek Carr.
Ooh, yeah. Nah. You don't want any part of that.
And that has been very disappointing.
I think probably the biggest disappointment. Maybe, I think you could throw Russell Wilson as the biggest disappointment.
But the thing is that if the Broncos aren't having the season they're having, the Raiders are the biggest disappointment this year.
I would agree.
Hands down. And the only reason that the Broncos are even in front of them is because they traded for Russ and gave him $250 million.
Yep. And I think we expected, just because of the weapons that they had. You know what I mean?
I think they're both in the same boat, though, with all of the weapons.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a very valid point. And, also, too, with the thing I do like about Trevor Lawrence, he gives you some rushing upside.
Oh, yeah, he can move.
He can move. Right. So he gives you some rushing upside. Like I said, he's got all the physical tools. He's got some real legitimate weapons now around him. And like you said, the biggest thing was bringing in a competent coach. You know what I mean? And we saw what Doug Peterson did with Carson Wentz. We saw what Doug Peterson did with Nick Foles, taking them to the Super Bowl and actually winning it. So I think, like you said, the biggest thing for him was getting some weapons, some legitimate weapons, and having a coaching staff that is going to provide some stability at the top. You know what 100%. I mean?
100%.
I think that's those are some really good things that bode well for Trevor Lawrence, not only rest of the season, but into next year. All right, Brian, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Stuck between James Conner or Zay Jones as a flex. I know exactly who I'm playing, and it's probably not even close. Bagala, where are you leaning on this one?
To me, it's a little bit closer than you think, but I guess I'm going to play James Conner in the flex this week. It's a little bit closer because of the matchup with the Titans, and we saw what the Eagles did to him last week, throwing the ball all over the yard. I don't expect the Jaguars to be that potent, but I do expect them to kind of take that same approach as to they're going to want to throw the ball this game, and you could see some Zay Jones gets some of that work, but the main cog in that passing game is Christian Kirk. And they spread the ball around. They got a bunch of people. I'm taking James Conner. He's been really good since he's come back off of injury.
Yes, he has.
He's really good. He's been getting the totes and he's been getting the work. And as long as he stays healthy, I think that's a guy that I'm going to want to start and think about starting him on a week in and week out basis. He's probably a RB2 right now, but he's going to get the ball 15 to 20 times a game. Mm-hmm. They're going to run the ball with him. And when they get down there at the goal line, maybe Kyler Murray, he's always a candidate to be vultured by Kyler Murray, but he's a good back, and he gets some of that receiving work. So I like James Conner actually, and not against Zay Jones, but I like James Conner for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that, I had James Conner in my league, in my home league in redraft, and I played him those first couple of weeks before he got hurt, and he wasn't good, man. He just wasn't good. He wasn't efficient. He wasn't, what I expected. But over the last 3 games, he's got 22, 13 and a half, 24 and a half, had the big day last week with 120 rushing yards and a receiving touchdown. So they're getting him. And I think the biggest thing was, and I think we were all surprised, they just dumped Eno Benjamin and said, get the hell out of here. And that kind of just paved the way for James Conner to be the guy in that backfield.
Yeah. And that was surprising because when Eno Benjamin got his opportunities, Eno Benjamin was actually really, really decent. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they just dumped him.
Which is strange, right? Because James Conner does get hurt. So wouldn't you want a guy like Eno Benjamin who's proven that he can, play very well if he gets to start?
I agree, but I guess they look at it as like they got Keontae Ingram over there. He looked good in some of the games that James Conner was out and things like that. So I don't know, but it was very strange. But now that Eno's not there, there's no change of pace. So they're gonna
James Conner bust. Yep,
it's all James Conner, and I like it. I like his position as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we're both going with James Conner here, and obviously, like I said, it's more of the situation where it's just like he's the better guy. He's the better guy
in better situation.
In the better situation, yeah. So we had another question from Shaka. Shaka, if you're out there, throw your question. I was getting ready to get to it. It kind of disappeared in my chat here. But Shaka, if you had a question, I know. Oh, here we go. I don't know why it moves. Now I understand what Steve's saying. Like the question just moved. I got your question, Shaka. We're throwing it up here right now. What's up, studs? Wow.
I like Shaka. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Shaka.
I got 2 banged up peoples in my lineup, Barkley and Amari. Am I yanking for Hollywood and Pacheco or Foreman? I think listen, I think I would take Hollywood over Amari at this point.
Yeah.
I think I'm playing Barkley. If Barkley's playing, you have to play him. How can you not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then I'm taking Hollywood over Amari. So if those are your options there, I'm playing because it looks like from everything we're hearing, Barkley is active and he will play. Bagalot brought up the tough matchup, but Shaka, if this is the position you're in, I'm going with Saquon Barkley and Hollywood Brown. What say you?
I think I'm with you there. I'm a little bit worried more about Amari Cooper than I am Barkley. With the hip injury and everything like that, Amari was very iffy all week. You know what I'm saying? And
there was some reports early on that he wasn't even going to play.
Yeah, so you can probably see Amari go out there, give it a run, and then re-injure it or say, "No mas, I can't take no more," and then you end up with a bagel. So I'm gonna play Hollywood over Amari. I can't sit Saquon. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it. Like I have other guys I could play over Saquon too. Just like a Damian Pierce or a Miles Sanders or James Cook, somebody like that. But they said he's healthy. He's going to play. You got to start him because Saquon's probably looking at 20, 25 touches today.
Yeah.
And if it starts to go good, he's going to get up there in the 30 range.
Yeah.
If this is a close game, if somehow they manage to make this a close game, that means Saquon is having a bunch of work. So, yeah, I can't sit Barkley. I'm going Barkley Hollywood. I would sit Amari today.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's just Pacheco's an interesting play as well. But Hollywood just has upside, man, and we saw Hollywood in his first game back. I know, I believe they're coming off the bye, right? Arizona.
Yes, they are.
So Arizona's coming off the bye, but it's Hollywood still has that upside where he can be a wide receiver 1 on any given week. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was a wide receiver 1 before D-Hop came back. He was rolling before he got hurt. And I think this bye week is only going to help him. You know what I'm saying? He came back. He played a game or two. Now he got the bye week. He's getting healthy. And I think we're going to see him come out. And it's going to be hard to guard Hollywood 101 and double D-Hop. So
yeah,
I can see why the Cardinals wanted him. And let's be honest, Murray has rapport with him since college.
All right, so Shaka says to follow up 3 wide receiver leagues. So if I sit Coop, I gotta play Pacheco or Foreman. Do you feel better about Pacheco or Foreman if you had to play either one of them over Coop, or would you roll Coop out there if that was the scenario?
I'm on this Pacheco train, bro. Like I'm on this Pacheco train. So if I'm playing Barkley and Hollywood, and so if he sits Coop, he got to play Pacheco. Oh, wait a minute. Does he mean if he sits Coop?
Yeah, so it's a 3 wide receiver league. So if Coop sits,
yeah,
he's got to play Pacheco or Foreman, I guess, in the flex. Let me circle back. The question just jumped all the way out of order. So
it was either Barkley, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got Barkley and Amari. Am I yanking them for Hollywood and Pacheco / Foreman? So that was the original question. So really, I guess to bottom line it, if you do sit Coop, would you play Pacheco or Foreman?
I'm playing Pacheco. I'm on that Pacheco train. I'm not playing Pacheco over Saquon, but I'll play him over Coop.
Right. And that's what we talk about all the time in terms of, what are your options? And then secondarily, you're not like those stud guys like Barkley and CMC and Chubb and Henry and even Josh Jacobs at this point. You're not questioning whether you should play them or not. Even if they're questionable going into the week, you find out before the game that they're healthy and they're playing. You have to roll those guys out there. That's just the bottom line, because on any given week, like, listen, I have Josh Jacobs on my Dynasty team and I have him in my home fantasy redraft league, and he's been banged up the last 3 or 4 weeks, and he's done nothing but go out there and be basically the RB1. So in those situations, and he has a track record. So Barkley has a track record of being an RB1, and I'm sure where you drafted him, he was probably your top pick. Or 1 or 2, in that range. So that's the guy you got to play. It's just that simple. Now in this situation, real quick, I think I'm leaning Pacheco over Amari Cooper as well. Also too, another factor would be we're not sure how good Deshaun Watson's going to look yet. So I know what I'm going to get from Pacheco. I'm not sure what I'm going to get from Amari Cooper, given the state of his injury and with Deshaun Watson coming back.
Yeah. Same. I'm all over that Pacheco train too. And if some people may like Foreman more, and Foreman probably has the better matchup, but you can make an argument for Foreman. But I'm playing Pacheco. He's been too good recently. He's been really good.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So Shaka, appreciate the questions, man. Always good to see you in here. So we are at 12:05 p.m. Eastern. We any more questions you got in there? Any more situations, start sits? Any questions? Like I said, boys, this is essentially the home stretch. And even if you're not, technically in your playoff format yet, essentially this is a playoff game for a lot of people. And we were talking about this in our home league group chat, where if you got to win and in, it's a playoff game. That's as simple as that.
Absolutely, 100%. It is a playoff game. If you got to win and get in, you're in the playoffs right now.
100%. Yeah. So
yes, this is the nitty. This is it's the witching hour, ladies and gentlemen. All right,
wins become losses.
Exactly. So your season, a lot of people's seasons are coming down to this week, and you're playing to keep playing, and then keep going. So my best advice to people is make your picks, put your guys in your lineup, go with your gut, set it and forget it. It may be wrong, it may be right. Don't second guess yourself. As soon as you start putting guys in, pulling them out, and all things like that,
minute, we've all done that.
You're bound to make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? If you put them in the lineup, keep them in there and roll with your guys, roll with your gut, and you never know what's going to happen. This is why we love fantasy, right? It's that rush. You get that rush, right? That'll get you jacked up, fucking human being,
So, full disclosure, I don't think I told anybody this story yet. So, I was playing Blanc in the Dynasty Championship last season, right? And I'm sitting there, woke up. I was fucking nervous because I hadn't won a championship in a long time, and it was the first ever Dynasty Championship game. And I'm sitting there, I'm nervous, my armpits are sweating. I literally didn't realize I didn't eat all day. I was sitting in front of the TV and I did not eat all goddamn day. And while it was nerve-wracking and all that, but it's fun. And this is why we do this. Like I said, obviously we talked about building the community and we're having fun with you guys, but this is what it's all about. You know what I mean? So if you made moves, if you made trades, if you, saved your season, say you were, 2-4 and you reeled off 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7, whatever the case may be, this is what you work for. You work to get in the playoffs. You work to put yourself in a position to get in the playoffs. So, best of luck to everybody out there. We're going to leave it open for another minute or two. Any last minute questions? Otherwise, those 1 o'clock inactives are out. So make sure you log in, see what you got. We gave you a couple of the inactives as they were going. So any other
Jackson, if you're still here, Cheetah going boom tonight, baby. Cheetah go boom.
Yeah, and Cheetah's one of those league winners, man. He's one of those needle movers. So
any given Sunday, Cheetah can go off for 60 points. Cheetah goes boom. Get ready for it.
And we've seen Cheetah go boom, and we've seen Cheetah, can potentially, like I said, carry you to a league championship. So
most definitely, I'm hoping Diggs can carry me through the Dynasty playoffs. Overall, wide receiver 1 through the whole league. He's been so good. Diggs has been so good. So he is him. Diggs is him. You got him all the way fucked up.
Oh, I think they got him at number 2 right now in our league.
Is he?
Mm-hmm. They got him
maybe because Devontae played and they added those, but he's number 1.
Is Devontae number 1? Yeah, Devontae's number 1. But
because he just played, so
he didn't have a great game though.
No, he didn't. So him and Diggs are probably close together, but I need Diggs. I need him to carry me home, baby.
Yeah,
I need him to carry me home.
So for all of you out there who don't know, Bagala is starving for a fantasy championship like no.
All right, yeah. Since he's brought it up, I've been playing Dynasty for a long time, and I've made championships. I think I've made 2 since I've been playing, and I haven't been able to win. And both the 2 that I make, fucking Stevie B, out of all people, takes me down in both of my championship runs. Mm-hmm. And one of them, he beat me by 0.5 points.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he beat me by a reception. And that was before we started scoring every yard, I think. So he beat me by a reception. So yeah, I am starving, but I'm top 3 in all 3 home leagues, 1 Dynasty, 2 redraft. Top 3, probably going to get a first round buy in 2 of them. So I got a shot. I got a real good chance. I got really good teams. I'm coming for blood. I'm going to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
So listen, at this point, all you can do is just roll with the guys that got you there. You know what I mean? And I said this before in our home league group chat, where it's like, listen, you just got to put your best team out there, and getting to the playoffs in fantasy, the first, 14, however many weeks in the regular season, I would say it's about 70% skill, 30% luck in the regular season.
Absolutely.
In the fantasy playoffs, you're looking at, I think it's
a 50-50. It's a I
think look at it the other way. It's kind of 70% luck and 30%, and 30% skill, because at that point you're just rolling your normal everyday guys that you've rolled out with. Now, obviously injuries, and maybe there's some guys that you feel have a better matchup, maybe for your flex position.
You're less likely to make a call and put a guy in there than you are during the season, because you always got next week, right? And in the playoffs you don't have next week, so you're rolling with you're rolling with who brought you to the dance, and right. If they don't, you got to be ballsy to make a play and pull somebody out and say, I'm playing this dude, what I'm saying, over this guy, and that's hard to do.
100%. Well, all right, boys. So we're going to wrap this up. Week 14, obviously, will be on tomorrow night to kind of recap everything. It should be an absolutely wild day with the fantasy playoffs fastly approaching and everybody's scenario kind of working themselves out in this this week 14. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Best of luck in your fantasy, week 14 / playoffs, and we out.
Airmail it to me. It's a good show. Good show.
Really good show. So yeah, so Sundays is fairly easy. It's only like an hour or whatever, and
I fucking was streaming a little bit last night, and then I went to bed mad late.
I'm shocked.
I went to bed mad late. My fucking schedule's all jacked up, dude. I can't go to sleep when I need to go to sleep. I'm up at the middle of the night. It's all fucked up, bro.
Yes, sir. I got it all jacked up. So they got this thing. You ever heard of Fubo? Fubo TV?
Yeah.
So Fubo has this thing where they have a free trial.
So you put it on?
So I've been using like 10 different emails to get the free trial. Bro, it's $100 a month just to watch fucking Red Zone. Like, I'm not doing that. Who's that?
Who's that? You know who that is? He always calls my phone. Who always calls my phone?
I know.
Say it. Say it.
2 minutes. On me, it's a wrap for me. I'm not winning shit.
Look at this. This is what I want to do to teenagers. This is what I want to do to teenagers. You see it all the fucking time.
Bite his kneecap.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah. So, what happened?
What'd you say?
He's too grown.
Oh, she said Brandon's too grown.
Yeah, right. Not too grown to get these hands.
Exactly. Yeah, bro. I got a good shot. this year, man.
Yeah. So, the stream is still going. I said end stream.
Is it? Oh shit.
Play outro and end stream. I don't know why it's